Welcome to Behind the Doors, the podcast where we take you behind the scenes of residential real estate investing. I'm your host, Dan Noma Jr., here with my co-host, Marvin Cruz.
We're here to help you unlock the best strategies and practice for investors. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro looking to scale your portfolio.
We've spent decades navigating the ever-changing world of real estate, and now we're sharing everything we've learned to help you succeed.
From off-market deals to cash flow management and everything in between, we'll break it down and bring you actionable insights that can make a real difference in your investments.
So get ready to open the door to new opportunities and take your real estate investing to the next level. Let's dive in.
Agents, if you're not watching the stock market, you're missing deals. Dan, today's big question, what happens to real estate when the stock market is a mess?
Man, people start to look for other options, right? They're looking for tangible assets.
Yeah.
So crazy week in the market. You know, who knows how long this lasts? It was interesting, right? Like, I mean, a lot of changes put a lot of people into a world where they're like, man, what is going on? Yeah. You know, what do I do?
Happening?
You know,
Yeah.
We haven't seen these kind of losses. Like, it's been 3 years really since we saw this kind of losses in the market. So it's a lot of money. You know, a lot of people have bet on a lot of things. A lot of it's money they made though. So, you know, but I think it's a cool opportunity for real estate agents to showcase, you know, real estate as another option out there, an alternative investment option, you know.
Because when the stock market shakes, real estate soon to follow. It always shifts almost immediately, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about consumer confidence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just starts to drop across the board. You know, they're like, I don't know what's good anymore. And then they start kind of sheltering in place, you know, and so that's what ends up happening is, you know, buyers get nervous about making any big decisions as a result of like what's going on. You know, where we see it typically first is, you know, in those high end or luxury people, right? Like that's where you start to see a lot of them slow buying activity until they get some more certainty around their stock and bond portfolios, you know? So that becomes a big deal.
Oh, that makes sense. And then you start to see this investor shift because now they're like, I knew I should have listened to Dan 2 years ago, 3 episodes ago, and moved into real estate. That's going to start to change more and more and more, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of people, you know, considering that they should just diversify. You know, the market's not bad. It's not the worst it's ever been. You know, it's not that. It's just that, you know, it's different and, you know, diversification's always good. So why not, you know, get into something else, something that's a little bit more stable, you know? And I think that offers a cool option for them.
Yep. And then the Fed step in when these market goes up and down like crazy or goes to crash, the ripple effect impacts the Feds, and now they start to adjust rates.
Yeah.
That can have a boost in slow buyer demand.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? With rates right now, it's tough to say. You know, we've seen rates drop recently, which like is historically not a good signal for the market. It's usually like rates are lower when people are not borrowing much, right? They're trying to giving you a reason to come borrow. So it's not always the best thing for the economy when you're seeing lower rates. But, you know, I think right now we're definitely seeing a world where inflation could be the factor that creates mortgage rates to go back up a bit too, you know? So I don't think there's any like final say or, you know, crystal ball of what's going to happen to mortgage rates right now, you know? But I mean, I know today that they're pretty favorable. So get in and lock one up today. You know, why not?
Got it. So I hear you, Dan, right? And the agents hear you. Smart agents, they're tracking the stock market trends.
Yeah.
But what should we be watching for? Like, what am I looking for when I'm watching the stock market with my agent hat or lens on?
Yeah, I mean, interest rates stock market drops are going to cause interest rates to lower. That's historically just been true. So those two are synonymous. So like if you're not watching the stock market, start watching. Like get yourself educated on it and learn a little bit so that you can be more educated on behalf of your consumers. But when those mortgage rates goes down, there is a lot of pent up demand in the market. So I think you're going to still see that people want to come out and buy. So this could be a good signal. You know, it could be the silver lining of the stock market, you know, adjusting a little bit, is that, you know, lower rates lead to higher buyer demand because mortgage rates drop a little bit too. So I think that could be a thing for sure.
No, that's awesome. And then obviously investor movement starts to happen. Investors come out to play during this time.
Yeah.
While most sellers and buyers sit on the sideline and hesitate a little bit,
Yep.
investors is like, oh, this is it. I'm going to shift from the stock over to real estate. So that's good, yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing that real estate agents probably need to be conscious of is just like buyer and seller sentiment follows these market shifts, right? So you also have to follow these market shifts. Like don't go spending a bunch of money advertising, to new first-time buyers when, interest rates are going up like that, that's just not going to make a lot of sense. So I think you got to be, you got to stay ahead of the consumer sentiment and know where you need to market to and speak the right language at the right time, because you could look like a fool if you're out there saying mortgage rates are falling and they're not, like you got to be really careful with that.
I love you said that. You could, if you can read the signals, you can make your adjustments and save cost.
Yeah, don't just dump a bunch of money into that.
I love that.
That's crazy.
So what are some steps that I could take as a real estate agent?
I think this is where I think you can be the ultimate expert to your customers is by leading with education. A lot of times agents are selling all the time, but like it's your opportunity to become their trusted advisor and gain that trust from them. And so like educate your clients on market cycles, how they work, how they've worked historically. And then I think like one of the things that I always say to agents is don't try to be the predictor, right? There was do you remember a couple of years ago when people were saying date the rate, right? Yep. And they were like, oh, mortgage rates, they're going to drop. My mortgage guys said they're going to drop this year. You buy this property today at this 8% rate, you're going to be fine. You're going to be able to refinance it to a 4% rate in a year from now. Don't worry about it, right? Well, that's not true. That just didn't happen, right? So do you think that person's going to go back to that agent that told them to date the rate? No,
they're disappointed.
They're not real happy with them right now. So be careful of trying to portray yourself as like an expert out there. Like none of us know what's going to go on, right? Like we can all use like our education to get our own tidbits and opinion about it, but be careful how you share it. Like don't just be the boaster of all that stuff.
I love that. Yeah, everybody wants the inside leg.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to use data and fact finding as much as possible. So
yeah. And then, focus on, like right now, I think the thing you can do is focus on like cash sales and, segments that are more stable. That kind of stuff is going to it will continue to do great and markets like this. And then, using uncertainty as your advantage, I think is probably the key, right? And just being the expert that helps your clients navigate these uncertain times could be huge, right? I mean, you could save somebody from financial turmoil just by being an advocate or just by being an educator and sharing news and information that isn't biased. It just is. That's the other problem. Like, remember, like, I don't know. Do you ever watch the news as a kid?
All the time.
Do you remember like the news was boring? Like it just wasn't cool. Like the guy just got up there and he just read the news.
Yeah. Now they're driving golf carts. While they read the news, they're in the garden.
Well, but everybody's an expert. They all have like an opinion too, exactly. Like the news, I think it should just be the news. It's just like, the guy used to get up there and just read the news and it was like, take it. This is the news. Just take the news, Now it's like, it's always got a spin, it's like, it's got this spin to it. I think you can go back to just being the news, like just be the news and just share the news. You don't need to spin it for anybody. Just give it to them because like, I think that's what people are looking for is they're looking for just like an unbiased, educated view instead of just like this biased craziness. So don't be the current news, be the old news. Like the old curmudgeon guy that stood up there with the suit, be that guy.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Doors. We hope you found today's insights valuable for your real estate investing journey.
Remember, real estate success doesn't happen overnight, but with the right tools and strategies, you can build long-term wealth and create passive income.
If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with others who are passionate about real estate investing.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for more tips and exclusive content.
Until next time, keep unlocking new opportunities, and we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Doors.